Hello and welcome to the Rainbow Run 2022. This is a project I started last year and actually had a lot of fun with it. I thought you guys might like to come along this time. Every day this week, I'm going on a scavenger hunt around my neighborhood for different colors of the rainbow. I'm not going to stop jogging or walking until I find 3 things of every color. I'll tell you why when we get to the end. Right now, let's go! Today I learned about Dr. Evelyn Hooker. She was a psychologist back in the late 50s, I think. And one of her students was a gay man named Sam Ford. And she, got to know him really well. They became friends, and he introduced her to, his community and his friends. And this was at a time when, homosexuality was considered a mental illness, and if you were gay, you were just as unstable and dangerous and disorderly as, the town drunk or someone with severe issues, criminals. To be a part of this or become a part of this friend group was a big step for her. Anyway, she started a study where she took a group of gay men and a group of heterosexual men and had them conduct standard psychiatric tests. And she handed the results to a panel of experts. They graded everybody and found that the results were all similar. There was no big difference, and that when the experts were asked, hey, we've removed all the identifying information, now you find the homosexual individuals, they couldn't tell the difference. So this was really groundbreaking. When she presented it to her peers, it really kind of kicked the door in for future studies, and kind of opened everyone's eyes to the fact that, hey, clinically, scientifically, gay people are not, in fact, insane and deranged. And that is why it is important to kind of go outside your comfort zone and go outside your box and really extend, your time and understanding to people whose worlds you're not a part of. Why? Why are you doing it? Tell me. So I wasn't going to run today at all, actually. It's been a couple days. I have a lot going on at work. I'm super tired. I was like, ugh, I don't want to do it. It's hot out, etc. But then I started reading about this guy named Harvey Milk. Wow, what a dude, man. What a guy. I didn't know anything about him. I'd heard the name, of course, and I knew somewhere dimly in the back of my brain that he was a politician, but had no idea that he had anything to do with the gay rights movement. I don't know what. I live under a large rock. I'm learning things every day. But, this guy ran for multiple offices several times and didn't make it and never did give up and kept, trying and trying. And he did. He was elected as San Francisco city supervisor back in the 70s and was, very loud and proud about being openly gay like the whole time. And this was only a couple years after Stonewall. Like, it was not a good time. Once he was, firmly in the public eye, it just made things much worse. He received many, many death threats that he took so seriously that he made multiple copies of his will, taped his will, and gave it to his friends, and he would label these tapes in case I am assassinated. So to know that your life is on the line for a cause and to keep fighting for it like that is just the greatest kind of conviction. Super inspiring. I don't know if I could be that good or that strong a person about anything. That it really did kind of blow me away. Here, let me give you something that's not the inside of my nose to look at today. Yay. I just finished a documentary called Life Before the Lifeboat. It's about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and 90s and told from the perspective of survivors and doctors in the San Francisco area. And you need to watch it with tissues, but I'll leave the link down below. If you are ever in the care or the company of someone who is suffering, and it crosses your mind that whatever you have to offer them is not enough, you are very, very wrong. The teeniest little touch of a hand, a toothbrush, a moment of your time to listen. All these things are absolutely invaluable. So I'm thinking about time today, and I'm thinking about time today and how a lot of what we call history really didn't happen that long ago. And sometimes, the world changes overnight, and sometimes it feels like it takes way, 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 way too long to get anything done, even the simplest things. So I come from a big military family, and so I try to kind of stay abreast of what's going on in that world. Back in the day, like I talked about the other day, it used to be that homosexuality was considered a mental illness, and so you couldn't serve if you were mentally ill. They wouldn't let you join, right? And then once they, American Psychiatric Association or whoever it was, declassified and said, no, actually it's okay, you're not crazy. The military still said, no, we think you're still crazy. You're not allowed to. A lot of people were discharged in the 40s and 50s. The federal government made it very clear that they didn't want anybody in. But the military, especially if they discharged you, they wouldn't just kick you out. They would send you to, thanks car, like a mental institution or a brig. It wasn't until like the early 90s that they finally put, don't ask, don't tell into effect, which meant, okay, you can join, but you can't tell anybody you're gay or a lesbian. You can't say a word. You can't actually be yourself. If you do, you say, we won't ask you when you come in, but if you do say something, we're kicking you to the curb. Finally, in not long ago, I think like 2010 or something like that, the military finally said, you know what, you can be yourselves, it's fine. We're good. We want diversity. Sure we do. Why, Why does something that should be just an inherent human right take so long to figure out? Bugs. And they keep changing their minds about whether or not they want to let transgendered people in, too. Make up your damn minds already. First it was a solid no, absolutely not. And then in like 2015 or 2016, they were like, oh yeah, we're hurting for people, come on in. And then they were like, no, we lied, no more. No. And now, I think just last year, they changed their mind again. They were like, we're all right with you now. We guess, we think, for now. Blows my mind, man. Anyway, this is all a really long-winded and kind of really long way of saying that if you know anybody who is out in the military, you give them a big hug and a thank you, because that is probably the hardest place to be yourself and to be proud of it. I started too late. It's dark now. I'm just walking today. I'm very tired, so I don't have any facts for you. I just want to say a little shout out that if you are in the LGBTQ plus community and allies, that's you too, that I love you, I am very proud of you, and I thank you for everything you do to make this world beautiful. I did a thing. Now, why did I do a thing? Whew, shit. Why did I do a thing? God. I wanted to do a thing because LGBTQ plus young people are statistically 4 times more likely to contemplate or attempt suicide than their heterosexual peers. I wanted to try and draw some attention to this and to the fact that there is a helpline if you find yourself in that situation. A couple years ago, a group of filmmakers got together and made something called the Trevor Project. So I will leave the link below and the phone number. They are a 24/7, 365, absolutely free crisis helpline specifically for LGBTQ plus young people. And that's really important because if you call the regular suicide hotline, the person on the other end may or may not be able to really empathize with you or understand the exact, issues that you're dealing with. I mean, they might, but, when I get back, I'm going to add up exactly how many miles it took me to find all of my rainbow things. And for every mile that I have run, I am going to, or run or walked, or a nice slow in the middle jog that I like to call slogging. But for every mile that I have locomoted, I'm going to donate $1 to the Trevor Project. I think it'd be cool if this moved in the world even a little bit, so, ooh, a lizard. If you think dying in the sun sounds like a great time, it's not. What the hell's wrong with you? If you're down to help out, if you start your own little run, the first, let's say, 3 people to do this before last day of July, because it's late in June now, because I'm slow and old. First 3 people to do this by the last day of July, I will count up your miles and donate $1 for each of them. And no worries if you can't or you don't want to, it's okay. But I do ask you to please share the link that I'm going to put down below. I feel like a lot of people know about Trevor at this point, but you never know. The one person who doesn't might be the one person who really needs it. Okay, that's it for my huffing and puffing. Take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. Happy Pride. Toodles.